hate this here with all the ice on in the booth. At the gate outside, when they pull up, they give me loose. Yeah, jump out, boys. That's Nike boys hopping our coast. This shit way too big. When we pull up, give me the loot. Give me the loot.
Hey guys, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be, it's kind of going to be my fall favorites. Kind of just like a current favorite, stuff I'm loving, which happens to be a bunch of makeup that is very oriented towards the fall theme. But I have a lot of really fun products to show you guys, just stuff that I've really been enjoying. I am pretty sick right now, and I know sometimes in my videos I say, yeah, I'm kind of sick right now. I'm like actually sick right now. I have a fever. I'm
Jared, I'm 19, and I never fucking learned how to read.
Felt like filming something instead and like talking about a lot of things I loved, and maybe that would help me kind of feel better. So something that's funny though is that when I'm sick, I'm like a lot funnier than usual.
Are you sure about that?
So if the memes are particularly good today, that's why. So yeah, this is just a bunch of things I've been loving. Autumn is my favorite season. It's still like 80 something degrees right outside right now because like California. But I just kind of love the whole theme of different makeup products during this season. Especially during October since it is Halloween month, so there's a lot of creativity going around, but just in general. I love the kind of focus on like grungier tones, a lot of reds, berries, pretty colors, I guess.
Okay.
And honestly, the whole point of me sitting down today is just to bring you guys a nice drama-free video in the beauty community. Pretend that this is tea. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into my fall favorites. I hope you guys enjoy this one, and I have a lot of stuff to show you guys. Okay, I think I'm gonna start with eyeshadow palettes and just kind of go through this video categorically because eyeshadow palettes are my life. First, I want to mention the palette that I have like recently fallen in love with. I'm so obsessed with this one, and I will be giving you guys my full thoughts in a big review in the new makeup releases, favorites, and fails for October. Gotta keep plugging that. But I have to share it with you guys as soon as possible because this palette. Okay, so I'm wearing this on my eyes today. It is the Colourpop Good Sport palette. I just recently placed a big order from Colourpop. I actually haven't bought a lot of their new releases in a long time. It's just like, I always try and save up my Colourpop cart for a big time when I really, really want to buy something. And just for a couple months, they haven't released anything that I've been like, wow, I need that immediately. And then they released this, and I was like, yeah, this is the Good Sport palette, and how pretty is this color scheme? I love all these shades. I think they did an amazing job creating this color story. So today I'm wearing the shade Trooper, Hooky, Reckless, Ebb, Licious, Trophies on the lower lash line. I think that's it. I think this is probably the best palette that Colourpop has ever put out, in my opinion. I just love the shades in here. I think it's a really inspired color scheme. And in my opinion, if you enjoy Colourpop shadows, I think you'll really enjoy this palette. And it's $16, so you really can't beat that. Not a huge fan of the outer packaging, just because I don't really like animal print. I think they did a good job with the color scheme and just this entire execution in general. It's awesome. Another fall favorite palette would have to be the JUVIA'S Place Festival palette. This one is just so pretty. I've been waiting for fall to roll around ever since I got this palette. Just this mustard yellow here is what dreams are made of. I love the reds in here as well. I am allergic to the shade here called the Zaffa, which is unfortunate, but I am allergic to a lot of red shadows, so that's just something I have to deal with, but for most other people, it's probably fine. But this is a fall color scheme if I've ever seen one. I think JUVIA'S Place formula is one of, probably in my top 10. I think it's a really beautiful matte formula. The shimmers in here are one of the best formulas I've ever tried for shimmers, and for $21, Natasha Denona could never. I am reviewing the BEAUTE Classical Paradise palette in the new makeup releases, favorites, and fails. I do have some different thoughts on this one than I did with the Paradise Fallen palette, so stay tuned for my full thoughts. I am still in the testing phases of this one. I've only done like 4 looks with it so far, and I'd like to have like at least 6 or 7 looks done with this one before I give you guys my final review. But again, this color scheme is so fall appropriate, and while within the Paradise collection, it is kind of like the neutral palette with a twist. This is not neutral by any means, and I think they did a really beautiful job with the colors in here. First of all, I'm not allergic to the reds, which is... But this color scheme just kind of makes me think of like the trees outside when in fall. Well, not in California because we have palm trees, but the trees in the East Coast during fall, plant life, nature, and just really, really gorgeous colors. So I think this is really pretty. I do think that the Colourpop Good Sport palette is kind of a similar color scheme. So if you're not wanting to spend $32 on this one, $16 for half the price, you're getting some really, really great quality shadows and a very similar color scheme. They're really similar, and you are getting purples in here, I guess, whereas this one you get more reds, but I still think they're really beautiful. So I will flash a look that I have on Instagram of this palette. I think it's a really beautiful color scheme and just so perfect for fall. Anastasia palettes are kind of my thing year round, but I have 3 that I think are just perfect for fall. I have heard a confirmed rumor that they are pulling this palette, which makes me devastated because I think this is one of the best color schemes that any brand has ever done, but I love the color scheme in here. Obviously there are plenty of dupes, so if you're not really wanting to mess with the formula of this one, I think you can definitely get a similar color scheme. But this very inspiring for fall. I love the grungier tones. Before this palette was launched, I didn't really see any other brands doing the olive greens and the teals and stuff, but now I think it's a bigger thing because of this palette. So personally, I do love the formula, and I'm very sad to see this one going out. So go ahead and get this one if you've been wanting to try it out. I think it's a really beautiful fall color scheme, and no better season to try it out than now. And I know I've been talking about a lot of colorful palettes thus far, but I do just love me some good neutrals during fall. I think the Soft Glam palette is probably the best neutral palette that I have. Actually, no, it is the best neutral palette that I have. I think the Soft Glam palette has everything I would ever need for that kind of just neutral day. And I think some of the warmer, more chestnut, like darker shades in here are just perfect for fall. Mulberry is what comes to mind when I think of that. It's just beautiful, like deepened cranberry shade. But besides that, this is a really well done neutral palette. I think they did an awesome job with the color scheme and of course the formulation. And that's kind of my thing during fall, is a colorful eye with like a nice like brown toned nude lip, or like a nice neutral eye with a very deep like reddish lip or wine toned lip, or just something really fun. So Soft Glam is another recommendation. And then finally, Modern Renaissance is also really good for fall. Of course, there's not really any rules to like what you have to wear during fall. You can totally wear like bright pinks and baby blues during fall if you want to, but just in general, I kind of love going towards those warm tones, berries, oranges, and stuff like that. And I think Modern Renaissance has pretty much all of those shades in there. I love the berry tone shades in here. Clearly, I've loved on Golden Ochre quite a bit. I mentioned this one in my favorite shades in my entire collection video, but this is one of the few palettes where I feel like it's perfect. Like every single shade in here, I love. It performs well. There's not any duds. So yeah, this is a really great palette as well, and that concludes the Anastasia palettes I have to show you guys. And another palette, I have 3 more and then I'm done, is the A20 Labs Wildflower palette from AOA Studio, or Shop Miss A. And as I was saying earlier, I do love like the mustard yellows and the kind of like burnt oranges and the reds for fall, but I also love some nice greens. And the formula itself is really good. I do have a full review of this one on my channel, so go ahead and watch that. But I think the mattes in here, they're good. You just need to build them up a bit more than you would like for a more high-end shadow, I guess. And the shimmers are really beautiful. I think they perform kind of similarly to Colourpop, so really good for the price. The Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. This one is filled with those nice terracotta shades, so I feel like they have orange shades with a kind of pinky, like reddish tone base to them. So it's not like your traditional warm tone neutrals palette in that sense. I feel like this one creates very distinctive looks. Whenever I see someone wearing this palette, I can tell immediately that it's the Naked Heat palette because of the undertones of these shades. And this is just really pretty if you're wanting to create a really nice monochromatic look. Particularly, I love doing a nice monochromatic, like smoky look with this one, and then trying to pick out a lip shade kind of similar to one of these darker, like purplish, reddish shades down here. I think this formula is awesome and very, very consistent, unlike some other things from Urban Decay that I've tried out lately. Alright, final palette recommendation for you guys is the Morphe JACLYN Hill palette. Again, this is kind of like a year-round love for me, but I really love focusing in on the green shades down here. I did a look recently with these ones, as well as like the reddish tone shades up here. The formula is still kicking even after me owning it for like a year and a half. It still feels like smooth and buttery, so this one has pretty much like aged very well in my collection. I really like this palette a lot year-round, but especially for fall, I think these colors are just
country boy, I love you.
Alright, so that's it for the barrage of eyeshadow palettes I had to show you guys. Now I'm gonna go into, I guess, skin stuff. My foundation routine does change minimally throughout the year. Usually during summer, I'm going for either dewier foundations or something that's matte and long wearing. And then during fall, I kind of just want my skin to look like velvet. Is that too much to ask? Yeah, I mean, with my skin texture, probably. I kind of gear what I select for my foundation, concealer, primer, and setting powder to kind of give me that velvety look. Not super, super matte, but just like soft and smooth and like face-tuned. So, the TATCHA Silk Canvas Primer, literally probably the only primer that I've been using consistently lately. So this definitely qualifies as a current favorite if that's what this video ends up being. This is really smoothing. I've noticed that my skin has gotten a little bit better since I've started using this one, just because I feel like the ingredients ingredients are really clean. And I just love TATCHA in general. I think they're now my #1 favorite skincare brand because Sunday Riley out here being problematic as hell. Very expensive. I know they are coming out with a like smaller size for the Sephora checkout line, so definitely go and try it if you want to, or you can go ask for a sample. And if I left it out of my current favorites, I'd be lying to you guys. For foundation, again, I like to go for that kind of velvety look, so I either go for like a nice soft matte foundation, something that's matte, but it's not going to be like super drying on my skin, kind of like the Fenty one, or I'll go for something that's a little bit dewier and then go in with a matte setting powder to kind of counteract that. So I like going for like a soft dewy foundation, not super luminous, but still like slightly dewy. I have 2 drugstore and 2 high-end foundations. The high-end one that is matte is the Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation. I was in Massachusetts last weekend, so I didn't film anything, but I took one foundation with me, and that was this. This is very dependable. It lasted through traveling overnight. It lasted through my days in the classes I was doing, and it's just something I reach for when I know I need a good foundation that's just gonna be like solid and awesome on my skin. I also love the Kevyn Aucoin Etherealist Skin Illuminating Foundation. When the Too Faced Etherealist setting powder came out and people were being like, oh yeah, this is the new Too Faced Etherealist powder, I was like, this is kind of that soft illuminating thing that I was talking about earlier. It's dewy but not like shiny on the face. It's just kind of like that natural skin finish, and I think Kevyn Aucoin and a lot of like luxury brands like Charlotte Tilbury do a really good job of kind of emulating that natural skin look. And then I have 2 drugstore foundations that kind of do the same things that I talked about with the other ones. The CATRICE HD Liquid Coverage Foundation is kind of like the Too Faced one. It's a nice velvet matte finish. It lasts very well throughout the day. This is another one that I take traveling with me. I took this one up to San Francisco a couple weekends ago, and it was the only foundation I brought with me. They are expanding the shade range. It's not the best expansion. They definitely could have fit to expand a lot more, but it's a start, and I'm glad that they kind of took everyone's criticisms into mind because their shade range before was, yeah. Finally, my alternative to the Kevyn Aucoin one, if you don't want to spend like $50-something in foundation, which who does? The Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation is another one that I've really been loving. But this one I've really been wearing quite a lot, mostly because it's really easy to apply. You just kind of like take it out, swipe it on, and go. I'm not wearing it today. I'm wearing the Colourpop No Filter Stick Foundation right now. But this one is that nice like skin-like finish. Slightly illuminating, medium coverage, just looks like your face. And I think it's like $10 to $13 depending on where you get it. I have 2 concealers to show you guys. They're not necessarily like fall favorites, but they are like current favorites, and it happens to be fall right now, so I guess they are fall favorites. #1, my favorite, the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. Very full coverage, but it blends easily. It doesn't look super cakey or heavy or thick on the skin, and just really good. Everyone's been saying a lot of things about it, and yeah, it's all true. It's all true. Finally, I've been getting back into using the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Concealer. I was really into this around this spring, and then I started testing out a bunch of new concealers during summer. I kind of lost touch with this one, and then I just tried it out again, and I love it so much. It's good for both light days and full B days, depending on what you prefer. And honestly, if it's good enough for Mario, it's good enough for me. I've really been enjoying the Essence Bright Nap Powder. I've been using this one with a damp beauty sponge just to kind of stamp on my under eyes and then kind of brush away later on. It just kind of gives me that like 3-dimensional thing. It's also really good for nose contouring. And for $4, like, how does Essence make money, honestly? Finally, something I've been loving, and I hate to say that I love this one because it's so damn expensive, but the Hourglass Veil Setting Powder. I'm still in the testing phases for this one. I've only worn it like 5 times so far, and for a powder, I like to have like 10 wear tests down so I can conclusively tell you guys if I like it or not. So again, the full review for this one will be coming in the new makeup releases, favorites, and fails for October, but this is so pretty. This is the most finely milled, beautiful, skin-like setting powder. It's not like the Laura Mercier one that I still also love. That one is beautiful and very mattifying. This one isn't necessarily mattifying. It has a nice amount of luminescence to it, but it still keeps your skin from getting oily throughout the day. I know that they do have a mini size of this one. It's, I think, $18, so definitely I would recommend trying that one out. I think this is an amazing setting powder, and so far I've liked it with pretty much all the foundations I've tried it with. I do still want to test it out with some other things and just see if it works well with other finishes, but so far, bronzers. This one, Marc Jacobs Coconut Bronzer. Of course I had to mention this one. It's not so much a fall favorite so much as it is just like a current obsession, but I love this one so much, and I think the color itself is actually really beautiful for fall. Bronzer is just something I find that really wakes up the face, and during fall I love kind of going for a nice chiseled out like beat face. My face doesn't really look made up until I put bronzer on and get that definition going, and then it just like changes everything. I kind of just look like a blob until I contour and bronze, so bronzer is kind of my favorite thing. The Marc Jacobs one is my personal favorite bronzer in my collection, so of course I had to include this one. Back to bronzer, I recently tried out the Colourpop pressed powder bronzers. The shade I have is Private Party, so it's kind of like a nice mid-tone bronzer. It has the tiniest amount of shimmer running through it, but not to a point where you can like see glitter on your face. It just gives it that nice matte but not flat look that I really love going for. The only thing I would have to say is that it's not the most long-lasting bronzer. I do notice it fading around the like 9 or 10 hour wear mark, but most people don't even wear their makeup for that long. But if that's not you, I think you'll be fine with this one, and I think it's great for like 8 to 9 hours of wear. Finally, I only have one blush to show you guys, but I think this BURT'S blush that I've been raving about for God knows how long. The Toasted Cinnamon blush, sorry, forgot to say that. I think this is just a perfect color for fall. I am wearing it on my cheeks today with the Colourpop bronzer, and it blends really well with bronzer. It's kind of reddish tone, but also kind of brown, so it looks like an extension of your bronzer, just like you have natural redness in your cheeks, and then you applied a tiny bit of bronze or like sun to your face. So it doesn't even look like you're wearing a blush and bronzer, it just looks like you have naturally reddish cheeks and you put bronzer on it. For highlighter, I tend to err on the side of like freaking blinding, so, and honestly, I could mention like 20 different highlighters right now because I've been loving so many different ones, but these are two of my current favorites. So the first one is the Colourpop Super Shock Cheek in the shade Flexitarian. I don't know why I waited so long to try this one out, but I did. This is Colourpop's best-selling highlighter. I think you can see just how like reflective and crazy this highlighter is, but it's so beautiful. I'm wearing it on my cheeks today. I think this is one of the most blinding highlighters on the market. It's only $8, I think, and it's the most beautiful like cream to powder texture. I love how this one looks, especially after wearing foundation for a couple hours. Like right now, I'm on probably hour 6 of this foundation. Highlighter just kind of melts into the skin and just looks so good. And then finally, my husband has returned from the war. The Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy Highlighter is coming back, I think, for a limited time only during holidays, but definitely if you missed out on this one, now is your chance. Again, you can see how reflective it is. It is the most beautiful big chalet highlighter. This can be a little bit too dark for me, especially in like the winter months. I have a very hard time tanning. I do get sunburnt pretty easily, which sucks because my Asian side, all of us get really sunburned, and then on my white side, you'd think I'd be fine because I am like slightly Mediterranean, so I should get a nice tan, but
no, sun is a deadly laser.
But when this one on its own is a little bit too dark for me, it's fine. I'll just top it up with the Colourpop one and I'll be okay. The packaging itself is beautiful, but I'm so excited this one's coming back because I get to talk about it again. Buckle in, I have a ton of fall lip products to show you guys. These are just some of my favorite lipsticks that I've been wearing very often. First of all, we'll start off with what I'm wearing today, which is the I Love Sadahi Colourpop collaboration in the shade Arriba.
Stop it. Get some help.
This is just the most beautiful classic red. It's actually pretty much the exact same color as the Fenty Beauty STUNNA lip paint that I think is probably the best red on the market. These are very similar in tone. Fenty is just the perfect like right in the middle neutral red shade that worked with literally every eye look, every undertone, and almost every skin, and pretty much every skin tone as well. I don't think I've ever seen anyone look bad in this. I used to hate the Colourpop matte formula. I thought it was terrible. I don't know if they like revamped it because this new formula is banging. I think the I Love Sadahi collaboration is my favorite one that Colourpop has ever done. I think the lip shades are the best. I have the shade Softy and I also have 951. 951 is the most beautiful like neutral tone nude. I wear this one so often, and whenever I do, I get like questions. I've never gotten so many compliments on a lipstick than I do when I have this one on my lips. I think this is the most beautiful like neutral tone nude. This one's really pretty and it is an ultra satin lip, so it's kind of hydrating. And then I also have the shade Softy, which is kind of like a nice dusty rose. Also really pretty. I love a good deepened like kind of mauve toned rose shade for fall, even though a lot of the fall looks are kind of geared towards like orange tones or warmer toned lips. I do love a nice cool toned but deeper lip. One of my favorite shades from Ofra is the shade Hypno. It's kind of like a deepened like blackberry shade. It's a very nice vampy shade and it lasts very well throughout the day as well. The Smashbox Always On liquid lipstick in the shade Out Loud. I don't usually buy things on a whim, especially if they're really expensive, but when I saw the shade, I was like, oh my gosh, I need that. And I hadn't ever heard anything about the formula, so I just kind of bought this one, even though it was $24. I was like, this shade is the most beautiful thing ever. It actually matches my sweater kind of, but it's a beautiful burnt orange shade and the formula is one of the best. It's matte, but not Dead. From Grande Cosmetics, I have a Hydro Plump Liquid Lipstick in the shade Rebel Reason. This is really fun. I don't think I have any shades like this. It's a deepened raspberry red shade, but it also has kind of a brown tone to it. So this one I think would be absolutely stunning on anyone of a darker skin tone. On me, it definitely is very, very dark and very vampy, so it can be harder to pull off for me, but I think if you have like a medium to dark skin tone, this would be so stunning on you. But I love this one, especially with a grungier toned eye look. It just pulls everything together into this beautiful like 90s thing. Another one from Colourpop is the Ultra Satin Lip from Kathleen Lights in the shade Rêve, which is French for Dream. This color I wouldn't wear straight up during fall. I would mix it a little bit with a red lipstick. So just mixing a little bit of the darker red with the orange, and I think it just turns into the most beautiful like blood orange, deepened kind of reddish orange shade. Also beautiful for fall, a bit more fiery. So this one is one that we all own. This is the Amuse Bouche lipstick by Bite Beauty in the shade Chai. This was the Sephora birthday gift for this year, so you probably got this one for free. This is a really beautiful fall shade. It's kind of like a deepened reddish brown. It's a very nice satiny finish, and it feels so hydrating on the lips. I think Bite does an amazing job with the formulas, and I love that. My lips love it too because liquid lipsticks be drying. Finally, I have two more from Colourpop. They kind of rule my entire lip collection. One of them is in the shade Taurus, which is a deepened kind of grungier brown shade. It's very 90s, but something about it is super wearable. This one has the slightest amount of red to it where I just feel like it kind of looks like a deeper nude. So it's definitely a dark brown, but something about it just looks right. Finally, I have the shade Ziggy, which is a matte X formula. This one is a beautiful like terracotta shade. It does actually look like those like terracotta pots that you plant things in, and that's the best way I can kind of describe this color. All right, that is it for the lip picks, and then just some other miscellaneous favorites right now. The Milk Makeup Kush Mascara. This I've been just like loving ever since I tried it out.
Dad, look, it's the good Kush. This is the dollar store. How good can it be?
It is my new #1 favorite mascara, and I think this one is amazing for voluminizing the lashes. But I want to touch on the fact that this one, it does have like lash conditioning claims. It says that the CBD oil inside is supposed to kind of help your lashes grow and be more voluminous and thick and soft. And ever since I started using this one, I've noticed that my lashes have been very, very soft. I haven't noticed any like growth in terms of length, but I have noticed them being very soft in texture and just kind of like not disgusting, which can be a thing, especially since I do wear like false lashes every day. I've noticed my lashes kind of suffering in terms of health, but this has really helped them out a lot. So I'm fully aware that it might just be a placebo, but I really do enjoy this one. I think it does amazing things for my lashes in general. I never really talk about perfume that much. I'm not like super interested in perfume, I guess, and I never really like watch people's perfume videos, but it is something I wear every day, and even if I don't like have a passion for it, I do care about it a lot. I do want to smell like a good ass cookie. Something I've been loving right now is the Outre Mes Paris Eau de Toilette Vanille, which is a vanilla perfume. First of all, the full size is $18, and you can get it at Anthropologie, so it's one of the most cost-effective perfumes. I remember reading somewhere that there's like a scientific study that says vanilla like attracts people to you. Maybe that's true. I'm still single. And for an $18 perfume, this has gotten so many compliments. So I really like this one. It smells good. That's my review of the perfume. It smells good. Alright guys, so that concludes my fall favorites video, or current favorites, whatever you want to call it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you guys have been enjoying for the season. I really want to know your guys' fall recommendations as well. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Make sure you're also subscribed to the channel, and follow me down below on Instagram to see makeup looks like this crazy one, posted pretty much every single day. So if you made it to the very end of this video, we did it. Let's go. I love you guys so much. Bye.